Alrighty. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to episode 4 of the Barely Acceptable podcast, where we talk about gay stuff, girl stuff, politics, wellness, and just about anything that we think is just on the edge of being acceptable. I'm Callie.
I'm JB.
So welcome back. We just want to start off. We've been trying to do this every episode, but just giving a big thanks to everybody just for watching, for listening, for whatever you're
sliding up.
Yeah.
On
everything.
stories, on commenting on things.
Yeah, we appreciate everybody reaching out, giving us a little feedback here and there too. It's been really nice. We love feedback, so keep it coming.
Much gratitude.
Keep sharing our stuff. Keep everything. We're very, very grateful for all of this. Quick disclaimer, we gave one in the last episode, but our cats are out today, so if you hear some wild shit, it's just them.
Wrestling, tussling. The husky cats are back at it again.
Yeah. So, we want to just go ahead and start off. It has been a crazy year so far. Valentine's Day is coming up finally. This year has kind of been a lot, kind of heavy. I've been trying to stay positive through everything, and it's getting a little hard.
Yeah, I just want
to... a lot of things.
You know what's barely acceptable?
What's barely acceptable?
When you go through TSA, and you gotta take your shoes off, right?
Right.
Well, sometimes they make people take their socks off. And then that's already barely acceptable. I get why you have to do it.
No socks is crazy.
But then it gets better. You make it through TSA. Find your terminal. Board the plane. Be told that you got to get off the plane because of weather. You wait, okay? Now, so you already went through TSA.
Right, already took your shoes, your socks.
Right, I already did the whole shabam. Yeah. Get back on the plane because the weather's good now, right? I got to get back off again. True story happened to me. And I just think that was just barely acceptable. And now, with the recent events of the January and all the plane incidents,
a lot of plane crashes.
Yes.
A lot of plane crashes.
I just think that there are some things that are barely acceptable when it comes to planes.
Airports, planes, all the things.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't necessarily like people that bring dogs on airplanes too.
Or animals in general.
I know sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Right. Like if you're moving. Okay.
Yeah.
But I feel bad for the animal. So I think, that's barely acceptable. And do you have to pay for that seat?
Our ears pop on the plane. Yeah, you have to pay to bring an animal.
No,
I don't know if it's the full price of a seat. No, I don't know. But our ears pop, so I can't imagine what it feels like for the animals.
Yeah.
Or the babies. I feel so bad for baby. You can tell the second a baby's ear pop on a plane.
Oh yeah, straight scream.
Yeah. I'd be screaming too, though. I hate that shit.
I just try to sleep through it if I can, but my legs feel so cramped and
I can't sleep on
claustrophobic, and yeah. And now I just saw an article about, there's so much anxiety around getting on a plane now.
Yeah.
Because of all these recent events, which, I mean, I personally always had those feelings. If I can drive to where I need to get to, I'd prefer to do that. Yes. Do I think it's awesome that I can get to, Las Vegas in 3 hours? Yes, I think that's very convenient. However, and then it's you could drive, right? Hello, friend. Okay. So you could drive, right? But then you take the risk of getting hit by a semi or just, I don't know, getting in a car accident.
It's all just dangerous.
So
why can't I just travel?
There's so much anxiety around traveling.
Yeah.
Hi, friend.
She's just loafing behind you.
Okay, she can loaf.
But yeah, I don't know. Obviously now, we're going to go on our honeymoon this year, and I don't think I want to go
I'm not feeling confident on that one.
I don't really want to get on a plane, at all, if I'm being completely honest with you. And I want to go back to Vegas, but I don't know that we can. I'm just scared.
Yeah.
But I also I can't do 12,
we can't
13,
live in fear.
14-hour drives either.
Yeah, and then it's we can't live in fear either. We have to live our life to the fullest that we can, but I don't know.
It's scary. A lot of plane crashes, and our condolences to their families. Probably aren't going to see this, but still, our condolences to everybody.
So sad.
It's so sad.
It's so sad. And then you mix that with like natural disasters, like with all the fires, the floods, the hurricanes, like it's so sad.
Yeah.
It's so sad. It's so depressing. But it's like something that I think about frequently. Like I literally will just be driving somewhere and my brain goes everywhere. I see that Culligan, I don't even know if that's how you say it, the Culligan water people, and I automatically go to like, bro, how could we get more water to the Hoover Dam? Something I think about ever since we visited. I'm like, how can I get more water? Not me personally, but like, why has somebody not figured that out yet? How can we not get more water to places while Florida's almost underwater from a hurricane?
Or like whenever the fires happened in LA, like the ocean was right there.
Yeah.
I don't understand why we didn't, and we probably don't understand because that's not our place to understand it. But
and I probably could look into it, but in my like brain,
yeah, I just
there
don't
should
get
be
it.
a better way for us to do some things around here.
Yeah, some things just don't make sense.
That never makes sense to me. How does the Hoover Dam have like no water, but like California's right next to?
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of confusing.
It's really confusing.
But yeah, things are really heavy right now, just in life in general.
This is gonna be a heavier episode.
Yeah, so
but it has to happen. So
there's just a lot of things we want to talk about that like are affecting us, affecting the people we love, affecting all kinds of things. So I guess let's just go ahead and get into it.
Small adjustment. Oh. Right. Okay, we're good.
Yeah, but obviously, like if you don't live under a rock, you kind of know a little bit of everything that's going on right now. All these companies rolling back on their DEI policies. We're gonna save a lot of money because we were kind of Target and Walmart girlies.
Target got sued.
Target did just get sued.
I don't know if it's like a claim like in process type thing, but like the headlines are saying they're being sued.
I saw like the article that I was telling you about that like Target tried to claim that like they didn't roll back their DEI policy. They just made a new policy that's better and all this stuff. But like, I don't know how factual that was, so I'm not trusting it until I hear more people say that it's
and true. I'm not trusting it after their last year's Pride fiasco.
Yeah,
like you getting rid of the Pride section and throwing it in the back. I'm out of this club.
I should have left at that point. But the only reason that I still have stayed shopping there is because of all the Black-owned businesses that they supported there and like just all of the things that they sold there for Black-owned businesses. And like now that they're getting rid of that,
you liked all the Callie likes to give cards.
Yeah, that's one thing I'm really hurt about. I'm such a card girly, and Target. If anyone knows Target's card selection, they have the best cards that I've ever seen. Like cards for anything. Like and the amount of like LGBTQ plus cards that they've had, the amount of just like little hi friend.
Right. And she's
Let's not play with that. You're not a dog. Like I just love the cards at Target. So like now I don't know where to get my cards. I guess I don't know. I don't know where I'm gonna get my cards. But
you know what? I'm going back to homemade cards, kids.
Yeah, I'll just start making them again. I have Canva. Just buy a printer. There we go.
No.
Print them off at Walgreens.
No. I want you to make a card for me.
Color them. Draw it.
With construction cut that stuff out. Yes. Good construction paper for Valentine's Day. Just want a white card. Cut out the heart. Cut out all the hearts. Different sizes.
Okay.
And write on each heart something you love about me.
She's not comfortable.
I think that card is much better than anything that you could buy.
That's true. I did just think they were
What if we made cards together and then did a card reveal? Okay. That would be fun.
We can try. Please stop.
Yeah.
But yeah. We're gonna be saving a lot of money, but we're not playing about any of that stuff anymore. Like I don't know. It's just crazy to me. Like why are we getting rid of a policy that's like literally just simply there to protect any type of minority, pregnant women, people with disabilities? Like it's not just protecting Black people. Like, and I think that's where people are getting confused. Like DEI includes so many things. Like
adults with disabilities,
parental leave for having your children. Like that's not going to be protected anymore. So like it's just a dumb policy to get rid of. Like, I don't understand why they're getting rid of it, but I guess it's not for me to understand. It's just for me to, I guess, stand up for what I feel and boycott if I gotta
for those who
boycott.
are not impacted by any of these things,
Good for you. Good for you. I'm
I
jealous.
am so happy for you.
Yeah.
For those who it does impact, you're not alone. This shit sucks.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be taken away from this
But I don't know where
simulation.
I would want to go to.
I just want to go to sleep, wake up, and the Dora intro be on. I want to go back to when I remember the Dora intro.
Or George Lopez in the middle of the
No,
night.
no. Dora. I want to go way back and prepare.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just a lot. It's just a lot right now. Mm-hmm. All the immigration stuff, like, just seeing how blatantly racist people are becoming. Like, them taking down the Spanish version of the White House, like, website or whatever. That alone, like, it's just like, why? Like,
what's that doing?
Like, this country is literally, like, ran and built by immigrants, whether that be Hispanic, Black.
We are immigrants.
I mean, if we're being for real, we are immigrants. Like, and then I saw that ICE is starting to they've been like arresting Puerto Rican people and Native Americans.
Yeah.
Where are you gonna send them to? Where are you gonna deport a Native American to? Tell me. Because last time I checked, they're from here. Last time I checked, this is their land. Last time I checked, this is their home.
I mean, it's kind of in the title, Native American. They're native to America.
Like, we took their land.
Native Americans.
It's just crazy. Like, in the Guantanamo Bay, like, concentration camp type thing that they're doing, like, sending all these immigrants there, and then they're just being treated, like, horribly, and it's just disgusting. Like, we learned in history class about Hitler and how bad Hitler was and all these things, but then, like, we're doing the same thing. Like, we're all doing the exact same thing. It just doesn't make any sense to me, and it's really sad.
Who the fuck came up with white? What?
I have no idea.
And then you call black people black. They're not.
I mean, I think there is some sort of history behind that.
Yeah, I'm sure there is, but
I don't know it.
White?
Yeah.
You looked at a white person and you were like, that's their race. White.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy. All of it is actually insane. It's really sad. If anyone needs to hide in our basement, you can come hide in our basement. I don't care who you are.
I might have to hide myself in the basement.
Yeah, we might have to both hide in the basement at this point.
Shit.
But yeah, and then a lot of, like...
What's your friend over there? Sorry, the husky cat is...
I don't know what she's doing. And then, yeah, a lot of executive orders have been put into place. Obergefell possibly being overturned is really sad. As of where we live right now, this doesn't personally affect us for the moment.
Right.
But the fact that, like, you good, or?
Yeah, I'm just making sure she's good.
I think she's so good.
Okay.
But the fact that, like, I mean, we live in Illinois. We live in a state that, as of right now, we're protected. We're safe here. But the thought of, like...
Not being safe,
or, like, going to another state to vacation or something, and our marriage not being seen as, like, a legal marriage is just, like, very disheartening. And, like, it hurts for all those people that do live in those states where now their marriage is going to get vetoed or whatever the hell it's called. Annulled. That's the word I was thinking of.
Yeah, it was.
But vetoed, annulled, same thing. But not really. But yeah, it's just really, like, sad and disheartening to think about. And a lot of executive orders have been put into place. I did write some down because I do want to talk about them.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just kind of, like, so far the executive orders that are affecting women or the LGBTQ plus community. Not all of the other executive orders that are being put into place, but these are just some that I want to talk about. The first one is the executive order to place restrictions on federal gender markers. So the thought of, like, trans people having to put their sex at birth on their passport, their driver's license, any legal documentation is just, like, so sad. Like, it could be somebody fully, completely transitioned for 30 plus years, and they have to put their born sex, like something that they've tried so hard to get away from. They have to put that on there, and they're not seen as the person that they want to be. Like, that's disgusting to me.
Sick.
The next one is the military ban on trans members. I was looking more into this ban, and I could be wrong. I mean, I don't know. I'm just kind of going based off what I'm reading here. But the policy that's like is banning transgender members that are like still in the process of transitioning, that have just started, that are almost done, all these things. Like, the only way that you can stay in the military and be trans is if you have been fully transitioned, no medication, which I don't fully know how being transgender works.
I feel like you would have to
but
kind
I
of
thought that they had to be on
it.
medication for forever,
right.
or at least for a long time. You can't be on any medications for like your gender. You can't do any hormone therapy. You can't do any of that stuff. You can't even have that gender.
Don't say the word, because you know I can't say it.
Gender dysphoria? Is that it?
I think so.
If I'm wrong, I'm so incredibly sorry. But the gender dysphoria, like, you can't have that and be in the military too. Like, it's just so many like stipulations. So like the percent
they're making it so limited.
The
because
percent
they
of
don't
people
want
that are going to be in the military that are still trans is going to be like less than 1%.
Sit
like
down, kid.
It's really sad. And like all these people, all these service members who've been in for 30 plus years, if they're
who've literally
still,
put their life on the line.
Yeah.
For a politician who probably has never been in that uniform, who's making a law.
Has not been in that uniform.
Who's making a law that protects their family, their home, their job.
Yeah.
You care about that because that's impacting you?
Right.
That's wild. That's sick.
Yeah. That's the thing, is like, people are so, all of these executive orders, all of these things that they're trying to ban.
It's just to make America racist.
And homophobic. Like, it's just like.
It's just to make, in their eyes, America go back to, really, if we're really, really thinking about it, it's like they want America to go back to like the 40s and 50s, where literally only white people had rights.
Yeah. I say this all the time. I think that everybody is so incredibly uncomfortable with what they don't understand that they want to like stop people from being different than them. Like, it's genuinely like a thing that like these people's egos are so bad because they simply just don't understand something. So they're like, let me just get rid of it because it's not exactly,
because it doesn't make sense to me.
It's not what I'm doing. It's not how I want to live my life. So let's just get rid of it. Like, people are so uncomfortable with things being different, and I just don't understand it. Like,
I mean, this is what your shirt says.
Yeah.
Equality rights.
Equal rights for others does not mean less rights for you. Like,
heavy on it.
Yeah. The brand neutral. Go follow them.
I should have made that. I should have worn my shirt that says, don't make me repeat myself. History. Because why are we repeating? Why do I got to repeat myself?
It's just crazy. Like, we're literally going completely back in time. But the next one is cutting funds for HIV programs. So
crazy.
The big program. I can't think of the name right now, but the big program, like the really well-known program for HIV treatment, is mostly government funded. So now that they're taking all of that away, it's gonna have to be like privately funded or like donations or things like that in order for people to still receive their treatment for HIV, which is so sad. Like, it's equal to cancer. So why are we cutting funding for HIV but not any other?
I think the real truth is, and I know people are going to feel some type of way, but the real truth is that there is a cure for cancer. There is a cure for all of these said things, but money, we need people to die. I forget what that's called, like the better,
like the population.
Yeah, like the population, it has to, anything we can do. It doesn't matter how famous you are.
Eventually. Like, you can't live past a certain age anyway.
Right, but I think these things that, could possibly save somebody, I feel like there is a cure for them. There is something, there is options, but it's just cheaper to be like,
yeah,
how about not?
Yeah.
And that's the sad and the sick part of it all. Is because there's people, as big as Dwayne Wade, who, just recently revealed that he has cancer, and he's taking preventative steps and getting things sorted out and whatnot. And it's like that he has a blessing. He has the ability to have the money for it.
Right.
But then you think of people like the Chad Boswick, who was Black Panther.
Boswick, something like that. Yeah.
Like he obviously had enough money,
right,
to save himself. But I feel like they didn't want to have a cure. Like, I feel like there is one. We're not doing something about it. And we probably could go through a deep rabbit hole of like research and looking things up and, trying to understand. But there's some things that we just are not allowed to understand. And that's one of them.
Yeah. The next one, I don't know why it's called this. I haven't looked it up. I think it's kind of a weird name. But the global gag rule.
Yep.
I think the gag part might stand for something, maybe.
It better.
I don't know, but it's the anti-abortion policy. So any place, even if abortion is legal in that state, like in Illinois, it's still legal. The places that do the abortions or offer medically induced, or like any sort of abortion that is government funded, will no longer be government funded. So that means that all of these places, and I think, no, Planned Parenthood isn't governmentally funded. But like all these places that offer abortions, all these hospitals that offer it,
right.
Like
say you're on state insurance or something,
you're not going to be able to get an abortion. Like it's all going to have to be like private practice, pay out of pocket, things like that, which is really scary because I mean, we could talk for hours about abortion and why it should be legal and all these things. At the end of the day, abortion is the safest option for anybody.
Some people.
Like for
yeah.
Well, getting abortion
for anybody, by
help, like help having like medically induced abortions is the safest option for everybody. Like if you're going to abort a child for any reason, I don't care. I'm not, if anything, I'm pro-abortion. Like do what you need to do for whatever reason you need to do it. Like it's not, and I could go on and on about the abortion policies and things like that and how we're trying to save unborn children, but we don't care about the live children. It's a whole thing. But yeah, like not being able to like this is going to cause a lot of people to get really hurt even if they live.
There's already been women that have lost their lives already.
Yeah. Just from during the labor. Few abortion policies that have been put into place. Yeah. Yep. It's just awful. And this is, I think the global gag policy, it's in the name. Like it's worldwide. It's not just America. Like America is also helping fund these other abortion clinics around the world, which is great because those places need that. Like everywhere needs to have safe abortions accessible.
Well, like, and speaking of that, I forgot where it was. Somewhere in Africa, a prison burned down, like it got on fire somehow. I
saw that.
And then 165 inmates got out. Women. The inmates were the women. So for those women who might become impregnated, I don't know. Yeah. That's so sick to think about. Yeah. Is that they're in a position where, I don't know if they're in prison for life. I don't know what the case is, but if that baby has to be carried to full term, they'll never know who their mom and dad were. Yeah. It's a victim of, and it's just sick. It's sick. It's sad. Yeah. That child's going to grow up in some type of foster care system, some type of, situation that's probably not the best. And, it's not going to receive the mental health care it needs, the physical welfare it needs. And that's just, to me, it's like when I think about the word love, it's such a big word. And that's how I feel about everything in 2025 so far. It's sick. Yeah. Like, to me, sick is such a simple word, but it's also such a big word. And so, yeah, I'm probably going to keep saying sick, but, like, it's sick. It's sick to think about. It's sick and sad. Like, it's sick and sad to think that, one, somehow that prison burned down, so now, criminals are going to be just out and about, in that region. But then they also are just, like, literally out committing crimes. Like, right. Like, they literally, they got out. They had the first choice they had was to go I don't know how many times we're allowed to say that word, so I'm sorry. Hopefully we don't get demonetized. If we do,
we'll take that part out. But yeah, next one is gender affirming care under the age of 19.
Right.
This obviously, people are so like upset about children becoming trans, and it's not even like, if I hear one more time anything about children in like elementary schools becoming trans, like, it pisses me off so bad, because none of these, no, and this could be a case I don't know about, but no like parent is allowing their child to have like hormone therapy and like change, like surgeries or anything like that
At an elementary
at an
level.
elementary level. Those things are just not happening. Now, there are a lot of, not a lot, but there are children who don't feel like they are what they're, like they're supposed to be what they are.
Mm-hmm.
That's completely different than letting these children like go through all these
And that's
hormone
been a thing
therapies
for years.
Yeah, and so just like stopping that isn't gonna like stop these children from feeling the way that they feel. And also, like, not like a 18-year-old not being able to get the gender affirming care that they need, or even the mental health help that they need for their, what do we say, it was gender dysphoria. Like, it's just, it's sad. Like, these all like trans people are never going to go away, so taking away the things that like help them be who they are, help them safely become who they are, that's not going to stop them from being, that's not going to stop people from being trans. Like, people are going to be trans no matter what, because that's how they feel. Like, just how people are going to be gay no matter what, because that's how they feel.
And sometimes it's
like,
not even how they feel, it's who they are.
Yeah.
So
well,
trying
like, if
to
they feel
limit
like
and
they
take
aren't who
away
they
that
are,
access
like,
to me is just,
taking away any sort of access is just crazy, because again, they're going to be who they are at the end of the day.
It's sick.
And if you're taking away the access for them to be who they want to be, the only other option for them is to no longer be here.
But that goes down to that population thing, though.
In their minds.
And they don't care about that, though.
Yeah.
That goes down to that,
Yeah.
The population has to fluctuate, because if there's so many babies born a day, this many people need to die a day.
Yeah.
And
it's just, yeah.
It's terrible.
Kind of like along the same line as like the next executive order is just dictating what can be said in schools. Like, there cannot be any like LGBTQ plus talk in schools.
Which is crazy, because a lot of these junior high, it starts at like the junior high level, like they do have Pride Club and stuff now.
Yeah, or
for
the
kids.
GSA, the Gay Straight Alliance.
Yeah.
And it's just sad. And like, now apparently, if this passes, the teachers, if they hear a child talk about how they're gay, they have to tell the parent that that child is gay, like whether or not that child has come out,
like by law or whatever. Like, they're
look
mandated.
At us, we were
reporter.
Closeted, and we were together for quite some time before we even came out to people, and everyone at school knew we were together, but everyone at school also knew that our parents didn't know. So it was like, imagine if like little us,
and 6th, 7th grade, know
they knew
bit.
But like they didn't know, you know what I mean? But imagine like 7th grade us, trying to like be in a relationship at that age, and then one of our teachers is calling our parents saying like, that they're together, right? And it's just like, I wasn't ready to come out at that time. I wasn't ready to sit down and tell my parents, that I'm with a woman. But and sort of like, to take away that option again, that goes back to leaving people with the only option of not wanting to be here anymore. Like, that's all it's gonna do. Like, this is just gonna cause so many mental health problems in people by taking away,
by feeling just restricted.
Yeah, by not being able to just be safe in who they are.
You're literally taking away their freedom.
Yeah.
This is the land of the free, air quotes, but you're taking away certain people's freedom, their freedom of speech. This is no longer a free place for individuals.
Hence why we are not celebrating the 4th of July this year. I've
big facts.
Always hated the 4th of July. I wish it didn't exist.
I think it's a very scary holiday.
I think that
I'm more scared of the 4th of July than I am Halloween.
I hate the 4th of July. Like, and what are we really celebrating truly? Because all these people that say, well, you actually don't have rights taken away. Think about all the other countries and how bad they are. Like, I don't care obviously I care how bad other countries are. But, like, I care about the way that, like, this country is treating people, and it's treating people horribly. We're going back in time. Like, things are not going well for anybody unless you're straight, white, Christian, all these things. Like, rich. Like, that's the only people that this is helping. Like, yeah. And the last one is the banning trans athletes. this just happened, where trans people are not allowed to participate in sports. Mostly trans women, because I guess that
they feel like
isn't
they're still
fair.
genetically like a man, but they're not.
Yeah,
If you
I guess
check
it's not
their if you
fair.
check their hormone levels versus that's wild.
Yeah. So that also
Sick.
sucks. Like this, we're just really going backwards on a lot of things. And again, this is simply because people are uncomfortable and they don't like when they don't understand something, and they just want it to all go away. Like they want everybody to be exactly like them. All these Bible thumping people want everyone to be exactly like them. And it's just,
And if
it's never
Bible
gonna
thumpers
happen.
really
Like,
sat down and really read the Bible,
yeah,
it's just a life book.
yeah,
that's it.
You're supposed to love your neighbor as yourself, but none of y'all are loving your neighbor.
You're supposed
You're
to
trying to restrict
take the things and move forward with them.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to go back.
Yeah. Nobody is loving their neighbor. They're restricting their neighbor. They're putting all of these stipulations on their neighbor. They're making sure that their neighbor thinks and feels the exact same way that they do. And if they don't, they're not allowed to be here anymore. And your neighbor has to look the same way you do. Your neighbor has to come from the same place as you do. If they don't fit all of that criteria, they have to leave the country, apparently, or they can't be here who they are safely and have support from anybody. It's awful. It's so sad. And we're like just going back in time, and every day I think about it, it makes me emotional. They're obviously fed up over it, because look at them just laying here sleeping.
It's a hard life.
Yeah. They don't have to worry about
their
rights getting taken away. But the thing about it is that it all comes from just like wealth. Wealth and just being a privileged human causes you to like try to put all these restrictions on people that are not like
and
you.
It almost it limits them from having an open mind. I feel like for some, this is not all wealthy people, because there's a lot of people who come from a lower income who are just as ignorant as people with extreme wealth who are leaning one way or the other,
And like generational wealth is not always a bad thing. Like sometimes it really does set these people up. Or like that, I don't know why I'm thinking about this right now, but that guy on TikTok that like is always building shit for his kids. Like me, like I love that stuff, and I'm glad that you're using like your wealth to like create core memories for your children.
Absolutely.
But like
that's beautiful.
When your generational wealth becomes a problem to where like
you've created an entitled
person who feels like that they can't have anything, they can't be around anything that's different from them. Like,
or not, like simply not teaching your child the value of $1.
Yeah.
Like, your brother's 7. He'll be 7. He's 7 in my mind.
In 2 months.
Like, he knows the value of $1 already.
Yeah.
My sister, who's 15, she knows the value of $1. But I almost sometimes would say they probably equally know it.
Yeah.
Just because.
But until you're put in the position to know the value of $1, you don't. Like, obviously, like, I grew up, my parents had enough money. And then, like, when this therapy, I guess, when my parents got divorced, we did not have all that money. So it was a very big change for me.
It was a culture shock, almost.
And I'm not saying, like, I had to start working, like I'm like pouting about having to work or anything. I'm just saying like it was very, very different for me to go from having enough money to go on vacations often and have nice things and redo my room anytime I wanted to then having to like really work for everything that I've got, which I feel so grateful about that. And if I grew up one way or the other, like I feel like I would have been grateful either way. But being able to like now know how hard you have to work for things and have to teach yourself things, and like I'm grateful for that. Like obviously I didn't want to go through everything that I went through as a child, but it has put me to where I am now, into a place where like I know how hard I have to work for money. Sometimes do I go on little shopping sprees? Of course I do. Do I buy things irrationally? Of course I do. But that's because I'm just a girl. That's all it is.
Girl math.
But
and sometimes you just deserve things.
Exactly. Like sometimes I'm just like, you know what? I had a bad day. I deserve something. And that's not healthy. And if my therapist is watching this podcast, she's probably like, yeah, Callie, we've talked about that. That's really not healthy. But it is what it is. Like, and I think money is like one of the biggest things when it comes to like generational curses and how children are raised. Like people with no money, for instance, are raised to like you constantly have to be working. You can't buy nice things for yourself. You can't, and sometimes there's so much pressure put on children that grow up in households with low income. Like, I mean, look at you, for example. You had to, become an adult at a very young age because of, things like your mom having to work a little extra harder and having to work multiple jobs.
And
like,
I'm blessed in the sense, watching her work so hard.
We both have grown up to
watching
realize
both of our parents work so hard, right?
And to realize that our struggles and watching the things that our parents had to go through has taught us so much. And so
then it makes me salty when we look at other people, who I know that they have worked harder maybe in different ways. Yeah. But then their parents.
But on the other hand, people with that wealth, people that grow up with that wealth, they're also mentally, a lot of times their parents are emotionally unavailable. One thing I will say about my mom and my dad, both of them, no matter what we went through, they were always emotionally there. And then being able to go through transitions with my mom, she was always emotionally available. So a lot of the times, at least from the few friends that I've had growing up, that come from that wealth, that come from being handed everything,
they're not seen.
They're not seen by their parents. Their parents don't really care about them. They just want to throw money at them and tell them to go away.
Then it can go the opposite way though too. For the ones who have the lower income to middle class, their parents are working so much for that dollar that they're unavailable, and that kind of makes me nervous as someone who wants to be a mother someday and a parent. I want to always make sure that I'm there for them emotionally, because at the end of the day, I'm going to be choosing to add to my life. Yeah. And adding a whole nother human. I think, it's you want to make sure that you're there for them. And it's we've discussed this before. I want to give our kids I think every good parent wants to give their kid something that they didn't have. Yeah. And I will say both of our parents did that in every way that they could.
But I think to an extent, when you try too hard to give your child everything that you never had,
you have to put a cap on it.
You at some point damage that child. My dad obviously worked so hard to try to give me everything that he couldn't have as a child, that, it drove him to have addiction and things like that. It's at some point you have to realize, as a parent, I am absolutely, and we're speaking about parents we are parents, but I think both from coming from very different households,
we're really trying to unpack the things that we see from our parents, from our friends' parents.
As a parent, I think all bottom line is I want to give my children everything that I didn't have, but I also want my children to feel loved, to feel seen, to feel important, to feel I want my kid to do chores, but I don't need my kid to do every single chore. Or I don't need my kid to be it's their house. We're bringing children into this world because we want to raise children. We want to raise good adults. We want to, we want to do all these things for our kid. We're choosing to bring our kid into this world. So bringing a kid into this world and then having all these, obviously, that that little saying, I brought you into this world, I could take you out, whatever. Yeah. But that's not healthy. It's not healthy to to make it seem like it's your kid's fault for coming into this world. Now they have all these things, all these responsibilities that they have to do.
But you do have to also introduce those things.
Absolutely.
So that it's not
there's a healthy
when
way.
When they get to, they buy their first place and they don't know how to cook, they don't know how to clean, they don't you know what I mean? You talk about all the time how you wish that you kind of knew a little bit more about the kitchen. Yeah. And I love the kitchen, and you love cleaning. We both love cleaning. It's I want our kid to like cooking. Yeah. I want them to like cleaning. Yeah. I want them to understand. I don't want it to feel like a chore. Why? Yes. I don't want it to feel. It's not a chore. It's an everyday. And I saw this one couple, same-sex couple, and their 2-year-old. They started doing little things with their 2-year-old, making her bed. Yeah. This isn't a chore. I want to start it at a young age. This isn't a chore. This is how you live life. I want you to make your bed.
And I saw somebody talking, I think it was a TikTok that I was actually watching this morning, a parent talking about they want to do things with their child. They don't want to do things for their child. They don't want their child to do things for them. They want to do things together. And I think we're those people that we put music on and we clean the house together. We do. Yes. I mean, we do different chores, but we clean the house together. I want that to be a thing. I don't want it to be we're coming home from work, we're calling our kid you know, you need to do this, this, and this before I get home. Like,
right.
now when it comes to
Just
like
because
the
I've had a
child's
long day
room,
doesn't mean that my child hasn't had a long
right.
day. And then I hope that when we do these things, it sets them up for someday when we're coming home.
Yeah.
They can just be like, hey, I took the trash out because
Yeah.
I knew it was full. And like, I know that if we truly parent the way we want to, like not too strict, not, you know, I want to be the fun mom. I want to be those things.
And all those people that say like your child's not your friend, yes it is.
Yes it is.
Like me and my mom are very close, like best friends. There are sometimes that probably she could have been a little bit harder on me as a mom, and I could have been less harder on her as her like teenage daughter. But like I would not change the relationship that we have. No. Because there's like a level of respect between the both of us. Like yes, I will respect her because she's my mom, but she also gives me that respect. And I think like having a parent that is like your best friend is everything. And like that's the only way you're going to have your kid respect you. Like I know so many people, not so many, but a lot of people that I grew up with whose parents like handed them everything were also like not respectful to them. Away. And then it caused like the child to be completely disrespectful to their parents, yell at their parents, say all these things. And like to an extent, like that's kind of on the parents. Like that's on the parents by not, you know, making them emotionally available and teaching them how to communicate. She's licking the blanket. She's got pica. She's so weird. But yeah, like it's just, I don't know. And then I followed this girl on TikTok who their house burnt down. They lost everything. And once they rebuilt their new house, they built like an apartment above the garage for their daughter. And she's like 12. So she has like her own apartment basically, which I think is really cool. And if we're ever wealthy and like set up that way, I want to do that for our kids. But like she goes over and like cleans her daughter's apartment every once in a while. And she's like, this is just me like doing this for her because I want to. Like I don't feel like I have to do this for her, but it's not a chore. And like my mom used to clean my room all the time as a kid and like do my laundry, and like that may have damaged me to an extent. Like I want things to be done for me. Your mom's overly helpful, but it's sweet. I am a little spoiled, but like I just feel loved. You know what I mean? Like I don't feel spoiled. Like I don't. But have to you know how to do it though, and I know how. The bottom line is you know how to do it. The bottom line is we know how to do things. You know, our moms, our parents didn't do too much for us. They did enough, and the great thing, the beautiful thing is if we call either one of them right now for something, they'll be there at the drop of a dime. And that's definitely another type of thing I want to be. Yeah, I don't want to just like be like, okay, the second you turn 18, you need to leave my house, because that's also damaging to a child. That you're abandoning. And it puts a lot of pressure. And I mean, in this economy right now, that and just like nobody's leaving. That and just like 18 does not mean you're an adult. Like 18, every 18-year-old is different. Some are ready to be adults and some are not. Some people are an adult by 16. I've seen and heard of young people being ready to go. You know, and to each its own. But I mean, that just kind of goes into that, like that generational wealth and breaking generational curses too. Like if you grow up around addiction, if you grow up around, you know, those poor negative things, you see it. So, and I feel bad because I feel like I'm insensitive to it, but based on the, you know, the school I went to, the demographic of the friends I had, and the friends that I still have, you know, you have a choice. Yeah. You see your parents do these wrong things. One of two choices: to either be exactly like your parents or to break that curse and be different. Yeah. And it's not always it's not even always a curse. And and every single day you have to make that choice. Every single day you have to decide, like, do I want to keep being like my parents? And sometimes that can be a good thing. Like your parents could be like very hardworking, loving people, or your parents could be, you know, emotionally unstable, not really like taking care of themselves, things like that. Like, so you have to make that decision. You have to make that decision and I think that's something that we've both have been so lucky and blessed and just determined on, and so disciplined, that's the word I'm looking for, disciplined on, is I can see A, B, and C. I can see wrong, I can see right, and I can see in the middle. And I feel like we're a good mix of like that in the middle. Like we can have fun, but then it comes to a point of like
financially. I'm not going to go out every weekend and
No.
spend,
obviously no hate, no tea,
$60,
no shade
on
to whoever does.
No.
We just aren't set up like that. Like, if anybody knows us, we're not drinkers, we're not smokers, we're not any of that. Like,
No.
will we go out to dinner and like have a drink? Yeah, of course. But we've never been to, well, we went to a bar one time and it was
Never
exactly
again. It was exactly what we thought it was going to be.
Like,
yeah.
it just wasn't our thing, and like that's okay for people, and like, and that's our choice. Like, I grew up seeing addiction. I grew up seeing, how damaging things like that can be. So I just simply choose not to partake in it. And I'm not saying that everyone who drinks is an alcoholic, or everyone who just has a casual drink is, but I can see the damage, so I just don't want to do it. Like,
and I just feel like once you get to and I hate it, how your 20s it's a lot.
mm-hmm.
You're
it's
old,
like literally probably the hardest years of
your
life.
teen to your 20s. It's a lot because you start having access to things.
Mm-hmm.
You start being introduced to new things. We all go to work. You end up becoming friends with people you never thought you'd be friends with.
Because why is one of my best friends like 30 something?
I mean, that's not old.
Right,
I'm
but
saying
I'm only 20.
I became friends with people who were like 60.
I haven't, because.
But the bottom line is that your teens to your 20s is just like such an accessibility time.
Yeah, and half of you have kids, half of you don't.
And I just wish that people would that block of drugs and alcohol. I love the fact that all these Bud Light, all these non-alcoholic drinks are coming out. I wish that we would promote that more.
Alcoholism is kind of going away. Like, I think at least from what I've seen, like, on TikTok, obviously I'm not out at the bars.
I've seen a lot of sobriety.
But I've seen a lot of people talking about that they're sober. Like,
yeah, let's go do something fun, bro.
One of my friends who vapes, I hooked her up with those like health vapes that you can get. I just was looking at them one day. Not that I need them, but I just told her to try them. So she got them and she's trying them. I don't know how well they're working, but like, I think a lot of people are, and if you're still like, I don't want to sound like a hater or like, if
I'm not shitting on you, but like, no. Bro, at some point, turn your accessibility into be smart with your accessibility.
Yeah.
Limit it.
Yeah.
Be smart. Instead of going and spending $50, $70 or more.
But if that's what you like to do, like, that's the thing. Yeah, like, we'll spend a lot of money on shoes and concerts because those are things that we like to do. If that's something that someone likes to do, I don't personally think it's the
be smart and healthy about it. Be smart and healthy about it. How about that?
I mean, no hate for those that do like to go out and get drunk and whatever. That's just not for me.
And honestly, if you have a craving to go and get drunk, I'm more concerned about why you have that craving. I more feel like you need to talk to somebody about why you want to get that drunk.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you feel like, oh my gosh, my week has been so hard, I need to go have a drink or two. Okay. But if you have the feeling of, I need to go drink so much like that I can't remember anything, I think
that's when it becomes a problem. It's like,
and I think people like we're big enough to. You're big enough.
Yeah, but some people aren't though. Some people didn't grow up like us. Some people aren't forced to be like emotionally aware of why they feel the way they feel.
Get big enough.
Huh?
Get big enough.
Oh, but like, some people just aren't built like that. Like,
well, that's why I said I'm insensitive, because.
I mean, yeah, but
get big enough.
I think I also kind of like.
I see it from the mental health standpoint. I really, 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 really do.
Yeah.
But to some people who can go and get DUIs back to back to back, can end up in the hospital over things, bro.
I think we should all just go to therapy.
I'm out to give.
As somebody who is studying psychology to be a therapist someday, like, I am fully an advocate of like, everybody I think needs to be in therapy, baseline therapy, even if nothing's going wrong in your life. Like, just a simple check-in is good.
I think that everybody should go to the doctor once a year, right? And I think in that appointment, a psychologist should have to come in, and you should just have to give like an hour update, an hour of how you are, an hour check-in. And then if that licensed professional believes that you need, an extension of that for however long the period is, I feel like you should have so many free sessions a year, which sucks because I don't know how that would impact the psychologist's bank account.
Yeah, but like
and whatnot. But like, I just feel like there needs to be a little bit more access and more structure on it. Like if we're making laws about women's bodies, then we need to make a law about mental health.
But nobody cares about mental health. That's the issue. Like nobody at that level cares about mental health.
I'm full of good ideas. They just need to pull up.
And I think that if you're not going to therapy and you're having any sort of issue in your life, you're going to find that therapy in something else, whether it be a friend, whether it be
yard work,
a substance, whether it be yard work. Like at some point you're going to find like you're going to have that sort of therapy in someone else, and it's just going to be like someone else or something else, and most of the time it's not good outlets. Or if you are having like your friend be your therapist, like at some point that can get unhealthy as well. So like that's why it's just good to just play it safe. Everybody go to therapy right now. If you have never been to therapy, go to therapy at least once. There's a lot of negative like stigmas around therapy. It's expensive, and there is a lot of like, well, tell me how you feel, tell me how that makes you feel. But someone validating your feelings on any subject whatsoever is like, it's such like a
and then if it doesn't need to be validated because like you are off, then having somebody from the outside kind of correct that and give you remedial things to do is great. It's great because then you can be like,
okay, I didn't really realize that was an issue until I said it out loud. Like, or when I talk about how I used to crash out as a young teenager, speaking that out loud and someone else being like, damn, then it's like, you know, I now see how big of a problem my crash outs were, and now I know not to do them again.
Yeah.
So yeah, everybody go to therapy. I know it's not cheap, but there are options out there for everybody.
And even if you don't go to therapy, at least like find a friend or somebody to chat with.
Or journal.
Or
something.
There's outlets.
Yeah.
Just try to utilize them. You're not too cool for therapy. Therapy's not too cool for you.
Or get a cat, because that's what we did. It's working for us.
Working for us.
Yeah.
And then set those boundaries, even if they're uncomfortable, because
set those boundaries with your parents, your friends, your elders, your dog, your teachers, your cat, your children. Like boundaries are so incredible. Set boundaries with yourself. Like tell yourself what you want to be. Think about your dreams, your goals, your aspirations, and tell yourself, like, think about what you need to do to get to those places and set those boundaries with yourself. Like if going out every Friday, every Saturday and getting drunk is not gonna get you to your dream of being an astronaut or something, I don't know, it's not gonna get you there. And if you know it's not gonna get you there, don't do it. Like simple as that. Like I don't have interest in doing anything that's not gonna get me to where I want to be in life.
And if you want to be that drunk auntie, uncle, if you want that,
if that's your life
goal, do it.
Fuck it. We're not here to judge anybody.
That's barely acceptable in my opinion.
Period. But yeah, I think that's all. We've done enough therapizing for today.
That's episode 4 for 4. Like at Wendy's. I don't know if they have those anymore.
Yeah.
Those are smack.
Yeah. Oh, quick update. I wanted to talk about this. I just finished. You won't care. And probably 90% of people listening to this won't care, but I did just finish The Housemaid, the book, if nobody knows what that is. It was a really, really good book. 10 out of 10. Highly recommend for anybody looking for a book to read.
I was looking at different ways to hold up the number 4. And then I realized that might look like a gang sign.
That's a lot.
Not a gang sign, but you know.
Did you see that kid that made like, I don't even know what he was making. He like made some sort of artwork that was like for like, I think it might have been for Black History Month or something like that. And the way that like he drew the hands looked like gang signs, and he got in trouble for it. And the kid was like screaming, sobbing. He was like, I didn't mean to do it. Like,
yeah, if that was just something assigned to somebody, I'm so sorry. I was just trying to see how many different variations of the number 4 that I could hold up. I'll just stick with this one.
Okay, yeah. Episode 4. Thank you guys so much for listening. Don't forget to like, comment, share, everything. Subscribe, follow, all the bullshit.
Repost if you see us on TikTok. Just hit the repost or just like it. We see all the views, but the likes don't add up with the views.
Crazy.
Make it make sense.
Yeah. Anyways, bye everybody. We love you guys and thank you so much for joining us.